These are 10 times Meg almost got to be happy. Starting with the time Meg thought she found the love of her life until her dad's rivalry with the giant chicken got in the way in The Chicken or the Meg. So a questionable but accurately named dating show is coming to Quahog, and Meg sees this as her chance.
Maybe I can meet my person.
Your person?
Well, if she had said her animal, it probably would have sounded worse. Then again, her dog regularly dates human women, so who knows what's right or wrong in this backwards town. So Meg goes in for an audition, which is less about auditioning and more about how cancelable you are.
Most of modern auditions is just us going through all your old tweets to see if there are any racist or homophobic slurs.
Well, if those are on there, they're probably written in Russian, so she'll be clear. As long as they don't find her side account. I hear she does a lot of weird posting under the name Elon Musk. But Meg makes it on the show, which is all about dating while dressed as an animal for secrecy.
I'm ready to swine and dine. Oink, oink, boink, boink.
Now, if that doesn't get you hot and bothered, well, I think you're gonna do alright in life. And after striking out with a donkey and the cow, Meg's luck turns around when another animal comes crowing for her.
I may be dressed like a pig, but I have 2 stomachs like a cow.
You're funny.
Don't think she was making a joke. I think she was actually letting you know about her medical history. So the pig and the chicken hit it off, but is their love strong enough to last on the farm?
And the first eliminated couple is... Pig and chicken!
Ah, well, I guess they're just gonna have to learn to date in the real world like normal people. But will the chicken still like her when she's not a pig?
I was right. You are prettier than a pig.
Not sure that's the romantic line you think it is. Imagine if someone told you smell better than feces. Like, that's technically a nice thing to say, but you're not exactly setting a high bar. But now the question comes of whether Meg will like the chicken when he's not a chicken.
And I don't care what you look like under that mask.
That's good because I'm a chicken.
Huh, that's convenient. Wonder what it felt like wearing the skin of your own kind. So Meg and Nugget decide to give this dating thing a shot, forgetting that his dad is practically the Joker to Peter's Batman. On second thought, those 2 psychos are both the Joker.
I love you, Meg. And not just because you have egg in your name.
I love you too, Nugget.
But if their relationship is to continue on, then they gotta meet the parents. Starring Ben Stiller and Robert De Niro.
This is my boyfriend, Nugget. His father is the giant chicken.
Yeah, but there are a lot of guys named the Giant Chicken. Maybe she's talking about a different guy. Peter does his best to hide his chicken phobia, but he can't help letting his hate slide out a little bit.
What's your guys' Wi-Fi password?
It's chickens are scum and then 22 exclamation points.
Sure, it's insensitive, but it's a dang solid password. Good luck counting all those exclamation points, hackers and neighborhood kids.
You either break up with him or you break up with me. You can't date us both.
Dad, you and I aren't dating.
Oof, that's the last thing any dad wants to hear.
If you don't accept Nugget, you don't accept me. I'm moving in with him.
So Meg does just that, but Peter soon begins to realize that he actually misses Meg. He must have suffered a recent brain injury.
You guys, I think I miss Meg.
He's gotta have that punching bag in his life, especially because I'm pretty sure everyone else in that house could beat him up if he tried that crap on them. So he decides to swing by the chicken residence.
I'm here to get my daughter back.
She's not coming with you. She's perfectly happy here.
Wasn't this guy living in a mansion last time we saw him? Guess the egg market has affected all of us in different ways.
Dad, I told you, Nugget and his family treat me better than you guys ever did, and I won't be coming home.
So Meg continues living with the chickens, but Ernie's constant dunking on Peter starts to get to Meg.
Meg, either you hate your dad or you leave this house.
I mean, didn't you see the embroidered "In this house we hate your dad" sign when he came in? But when Meg refuses, it becomes clear there's only one way to settle this.
Wait, I can't hit you. You're a girl.
Huh.
That's noble, but chivalry gets you killed in these parts. And that chicken may actually be dead this time since there was no final glare at the camera. Meg may have snuffed him out permanently, but at the cost of potentially finding happiness with a chicken her age. Don't worry, Meg, there's plenty more animals in the barn for you to strike out with. But someone should have told Meg that the first step to happiness is a little self-love, and that's where today's sponsor, LELO, comes in. Look, we're all adults here, despite what my 6-inch high stature may suggest. We all deserve top-of-the-line, shameless pleasure from the comfort of our rooms, and LELO is the best in the biz. Whether you're looking for something for yourself or for a partner, LELO's products are designed with gender inclusivity and simulation preferences in mind, guaranteeing that there's something out there for everybody. Their wide array of products are made with medical-grade silicone, are body-safe, and are backed by a 10-year quality guarantee, so you know they make good stuff. Like their Tiani 3, a remote-controlled couples massager. It features 8 different vibration settings and sense motion technology that allows you to increase the intensity with the flick of a wrist using the remote controller. Each of their devices are uniquely designed, easy to clean, and waterproof, which is kind of a non-negotiable for me. And LELO is now offering a 10% discount to anyone who uses the code SweatyClam10 on their website, which which is also stackable with other seasonal offers so you can save even more money. If that tickles your fancy, be sure to click the link down in the description to explore all that LELO has to offer. A big thank you to LELO for sponsoring this video. Now let's see what Meg's up to. But Meg would try to hit it big when she managed to get into college, only Peter and Lois's lies ended up ruining it in the episode Meg Goes to College. So Peter's presented with a possible investment, but he's not so sure it's worth it.
Meg wants me to give her a bunch of money so she can go to college, and I guess I'd rather spend that money on alcohol.
Because why invest in your daughter's future when you can invest in a good night you probably won't remember? But Jerome tries to show Peter the upsides to it with his own daughter.
Right after she graduated, she got a real good job and bought me a new car.
Finally, having Meg could be worth something. So he decides to lend a hand to help her find a good school.
I got a letter of recommendation for you. It's from Big Bird, and I wrote it.
You couldn't have picked a more educated Sesame Street character? The Count has a PhD for crying out loud. But for this job, they'll need some scholarly advice, so they turn to Principal Shepard.
Every college has spots set aside for athletic recruits. We can make Meg look like a star athlete.
I guess being an Olympic competing biathlete doesn't count for much in college. It's either basketball or bust, which Meg was also good at too. The basketball part, not the busting. And all the lying seems to pay off as she receives a letter from Brown University.
I've been accepted!
Hey, that's great news!
Tens of thousands of dollars in debt, here we come. So Meg begins to move into her new life, but Peter kinda wishes he could live this dream too. Maybe he could.
Wait, you're my roommate? You're Ashok Chandrasekhar?
God bless you.
Thankfully for Peter, older men who peaked long ago being absent from college campuses is a thing of the past. Thanks, Van Wilder. But while Meg's trying to have the normal college experience, she's about to get hit by reality like a football to the head.
Heads up!
Ah! Dad, what the hell are you doing?
Judging by that throw, I'd say he's going for the Heisman. He may be in his mid-40s, but he's still got the dreams of a kid. This probably isn't the first time someone told Meg this, but she should really start wearing a helmet.
Heads up!
Ow! Dad, what the hell?
Peter must have forgotten that they faked her sports history. Her hands are as good at catching as her feet are at throwing.
You're a total fraud.
Me? You wouldn't even be here if your mother and I didn't pay someone to get you in.
Oh hey, conveniently off-camera Dean. Did you hear any of that?
You're going to be suspended.
But that's only if those lies on her application turn out to be true, right?
If you show you actually can do those things, you're all in the clear.
He may have dropped out of Brown twice, but he does raise a good point. They're in the fake it stage, but now they gotta make it. And so begins a long gauntlet of proving Meg's athletic abilities, including softball, diving, and gymnastics. I'm sorry, she could do all of this? Why did Peter and Lois have to lie about it? You know you can put the things you're good at on your application, right, Meg?
I think all you have to do now is prove you can windsurf over Providence Falls.
That's nothing for the mighty Meg. She's the Sarakita Fringa of windsurfing.
Guys, no matter what happens, I just want you to know that I forgive you for what you did.
I'd probably say forgiveness for after you survive. Nothing drives an athlete like having a little hate for their parents in their heart.
Whatever you think the lesson is here is fine by us.
So the time finally comes and, oh, there she goes.
Ah, so close.
Well, you know, college isn't for everybody. Neither is getting swept up by a waterfall, but let's hope that was something else Meg said she could do on her application. But Meg would later prove to be quite the athlete, making it all the way to the Olympics until she had to save her father from the North Korean military in Griffin Winter Games. So Meg's decked out in skis and donning a rifle for an Olympic Games biathlon qualifier.
If I win today, I'm going to the Olympics.
Why is this the first we're hearing about this?
It's not.
Yeah, being a biathlete has been Meg's most defining characteristic. Who could forget all the years she spent training and honing her skills in the show?
The broccoli must die.
All right, I'm off to train for the Olympics.
See, she's been doing this ever since the Lacey Chabert days. That's how important this is to her character.
I guess I'll just drive there by myself. In my Jeep.
Wait a minute, you have a Jeep?
Ah yes, who could forget Meg's iconic Jeep? I swear, some of you guys must have been watching the show on autopilot if you don't remember that.
So the biathlon combines cross-country skiing and rifle shooting?
Yeah.
Kinda makes sense Meg would gravitate towards the event with a gun, doesn't it? Must have been the only thing keeping her from aiming a rifle at her own family. So the family sits down to watch Meg's big qualifying race where she takes on girls from all over the country, including someone from her past.
You're going down, Meg.
Lacey Chabert?
That's right. This should be my Olympics.
It's all starting to add up now. Lacey Chabert must have dropped out of the role of Meg so she could chase her dream of being an Olympic biathlete. Unfortunately, it looks like Mila Kunis is gonna steal that dream too.
Yay, Meg! Wow, Meg is going to the Olympics!
Don't worry, Lacey. I hear there's some openings in the breakdancing event. So with the wind in her sails, Meg and the family head to South Korea. It looks like nothing will ruin Meg's success now. Hold up, has anyone been counting how many beers Peter's had to drink?
Hey, you flush underwear in train toilet?
Yeah, they were done.
You can't do that kind of stuff in South Korea, whereas in the US, you can get elected to Congress like a few days after doing that. And that's my sweaty clam vague political jab of the week.
Now, what are you gonna do about it? You're just a train conductor who has a huge kicking foot?
US officials carry guns, South Korean officials carry big Looney Tunes feet. And unfortunately for Peter, he gets big booted into the least popular of the two Koreas.
Like your missiles, I'm about to go ballistic. Ow! A northern bird flew into my nuts!
Kim Jong-un even found a way to weaponize the birds over there? No wonder he was made supreme leader super legitimately. And it doesn't take long for the news to make it back to Lois.
Damn it. Why does Peter have to ruin every family vacation?
Honestly, if you told me this was like the second or third time Peter was captured by North Korea, I'd probably believe you.
Your father has been kidnapped by North Korea. We've got to save him.
But my race is this afternoon.
A gold medal in international fame, or saving your dad who probably thinks your name is Greg half the time. Truly a difficult choice.
I don't care. Where was he when I needed help? Where were any of you guys? This was supposed to be my week.
It really is rude that Peter couldn't put off his execution by like one day so Meg could have her moment. But before Peter can get the most direct form of lead poisoning, Meg has a change of heart.
Meg!
You'll have to forgive her, she's still working on her battle cry. So Meg saves Peter with her rifle skills, but now they have to find their way out of North Korea.
There's only one way. An impossible video game escape.
Oh, can it be GoldenEye?
So the father and daughter put on their best Nintendo 64 skins and shoot their way out of the prison. Personally, I wouldn't have picked the game where you move like your shoes are made of concrete. You telling me Fortnite paragliding out of there wasn't the better option?
You may not have won a gold medal in the games, but you won one in our hearts.
Yeah, because not having a gold medal is totally worth it for some very conditional love. This could have finally been Meg's way to the top, but of course, Peter had to get involved in an international incident. Again. Just leave him at home next time. But Meg would leave her suspicions at home when she decided to marry Bruce, but backed out when she realized it wasn't what he wanted in the episode Meg's Wedding. So Meg decides to head down to her usual hangout at the bowling alley.
So, you's not going to the big dance tonight?
Oh, you know about that, huh?
Yeah, people probably weren't even talking about the dance. They were talking about the fact that Meg isn't gonna be there. Probably upped attendance by like 25%.
My shift's up in a few minutes. Can I interest you in half a lukewarm grilled cheese and cold fries?
Man, we could all use a friend like Bruce in our lives, especially for that friends and family discount at the bowling alley. But it turns out this teenager and grown man have quite a lot in common.
My parents has never understood me. Every time I see them, it's, when you gonna meet a woman?
Not to make assumptions or rely on stereotypes, but have Bruce's parents met their son? I think you'd have your answer after 5 seconds of talking to him.
Meg, my friend, you and I is two of a kind.
Bruce, is this a date?
Who are you, his parents? Surely there's more to this guy's personality than his relationship status. But hey, Meg and Bruce have made eye contact for at least a minute, so you know what that means.
Guess who has a boyfriend? Come on.
Hey, y'all.
Just what every parent wants, a son-in-law who's the same age as them.
Stewie, isn't Bruce gay? How should I know, man? I should be the one asking you that.
But Meg either doesn't seem to notice or chooses not to, so Lois tries to make her see reality.
Oh, for Pete's sake, I am 99% sure Bruce is gay.
What?
Kinda wanna know about that 1% that's holding a little bit of doubt. But Meg thinks this is a personal issue.
Oh, I know what you're trying to do. Pathetic little Meg is happy for once, and you just can't take it.
Whether or not it's a lie, Bruce still seems to be all for the relationship.
I told my folks about you, and they lit up like a Christmas tree.
Really?
Yeah, but they may also be desperate. I think they'd probably take a cardboard cutout of a woman at this point. So it sounds like Bruce wants to make the relationship official, and I mean official.
Let me show you just how wrong you were. Bruce and I are engaged!
Oh, I'm sure they'll make a happy couple, like Elton John and Renata Blawell, or Freddie Mercury and Mary Austin. Lois is extremely worried, but Peter thinks they should just let it roll.
Maybe Bruce changed. And either way, Meg's happy for once. I say we go with it.
That's some surprising maturity coming from Peter. Oh yeah, you might be wondering why Peter's arms are so tiny. Well, anyway, here comes Meg.
I was hoping we could put all this behind us.
I'd like that.
That's better.
And so they decide to make things serious and have the parents meet before the wedding.
I'd like you to meet my parents. Phil and Candy straight.
Subtlety is the tool of cowards. And finally, the day of truth comes. And there's no going back. Marriages aren't exactly something you can back out of years later, or even the day of, the clam said sarcastically. But not everyone is excited for this.
That's Jeffrey, Bruce's longtime boyfriend.
Thank you, Mr. Context.
Now, does anyone have any reason why these two should not be married?
Not gonna lie, seeing someone object at a wedding is high up there on the list of things I want to witness in my life. But nobody speaks up, so it looks like it's up to Meg to have some last-second clarity.
I do.
What? The bride? Did you park on the street? I parked on the street.
Meg realizes that Bruce is only lying to himself to appease his parents, so she gives him the confidence to finally be honest with them.
Mom, Dad, I'm gay.
I can't believe Bruce would go against the family name like that. But everyone didn't get all dressed up for nothing, and Bruce is looking to make use of his suit.
Jeffrey, will you marry me?
Oh, yes.
Ha! Get it? It's cause his whole thing is, oh no. Anyway, Meg may have lost out on finally getting married, but at least it's clear this was always going to be the right decision. Having a secretly gay husband is such a cliche anyhow. But Meg would try to help Bruce again by being a surrogate mother for him, though she struggles to give up the baby and fertilize Meg. So Meg's helping Bruce clean up at the bowling alley while they talk about life and junk.
I don't know how you handle all these kids every week.
Oh, I don't mind. I like children. Always wanted one of my own.
Maybe you can just take one from the bowling alley. There's always plenty around, and they'll probably never even know they're gone. Like picking an apple from a tree.
You should totally have a kid.
I don't know if you knew this, but it's anatomically impossible for a man to get pregnant.
Don't worry, we're working on that. We've got our best team of seahorse scientists on the case, so everyone can experience the miracles and horrors of childbirth.
But at least she's able to have a baby.
You're right. I can have a baby.
So Meg returns home with her latest huge life decision.
I'm having Bruce and Jeffrey's baby.
That's wonderful. What do you say we take this party to the top of the stairs?
Don't think that works the same way before she's actually pregnant, but you know Peter, always the psychotic go-getter.
You're gonna ruin your life and I won't have any part of it.
Well, too bad, because I'm 18 and you can't stop me.
Normally, rebellious teens just get a tattoo or a boyfriend with a motorcycle to peeve off their parents. This is definitely a new approach, and I respect her for it. So Meg goes through with getting her fertilized egg injected into her colon or whatever. Look, I'm a YouTuber, not a scientist. Now comes these stages of pregnancy, starting with the weird cravings.
Can someone please go get me a cup of buffalo sauce and a hollowed out pickle to use as a straw to suck up the sauce?
Honestly, not the worst sounding thing in the world. Sounds kinda good, actually. Oh god, am I pregnant? There's no maternity leave on YouTube.
Lois, the daughter's crying.
I'm super wide awake and I want to eat something really rank.
Ah yes, the next stage of pregnancy, making unintentional slant rhymes.
Is it pump time yet?
Why do you care?
I think you know exactly why, but to save money on family therapy sessions, it's probably better to just not say anything about it.
I knew this was a bad idea.
Yeah, marriage blows.
No, I mean Meg's pregnancy.
We'll come back to that thought later, Peter. One family-destroying topic at a time, please. So the months fly by as we bypass all the fun of pregnancy, like morning sickness, mood swings, and having everyone try to touch your belly like you're Buddha or something.
Guys? I think my water just broke.
Ugh, all over the carpet, Meg? I know it's the miracle of life and everything, but it's gonna take a whole other miracle to scrub that stuff out of there. So the big day is finally here. Better buckle up for a long, arduous process filled with screaming and...
Oh, it's in the bag already. It's a girl.
Oh, nice. Saves us from some mental scarring. Well, the new mom immediately becomes attached to her little girl, who will only really be her little girl for the next few minutes.
You know what? Why don't I take the first shift?
Well, it would give us a chance to finish Doodad in her room.
But first shift becomes second, which then becomes third, and you start to wonder if Bruce and Jeffrey are ever gonna show up to work.
This is getting ridiculous. It's been 3 days. Why haven't Bruce and Jeffrey picked up that baby?
It even gets to a point where the baby has almost a full head of hair while under Meg's care. At this rate, she'll be enrolling in college soon before her dad's even decided to show up.
Since Liza Judy Barbara was born, I feel like my life has purpose for the first time.
And there it is. Maybe this isn't Bruce and Jeffrey being neglectful, but Meg holding on to the one thing that finally gives her life meaning.
We wanted to come over, but Meg kept saying it was a bad time.
Meg, is that true?
Yeah, Lois, I just said that. But even Bruce and Jeffrey have their doubts about their ability to raise this baby, but maybe they can learn to do so like Meg has.
I know we're not perfect, but no parent is, and this is our child. She belongs with us.
Yeah, but have you met Meg? You may have to kill her to pull this baby away from her. Actually, though, she realizes they're right and finally turns her over to them.
Thank you, Meg. You've completed our family. We have our baby, and we have you.
And there's always time to make another one. Better hop to it while you still have that teen mom energy. But unfortunately for Meg, her new boyfriend seems more interested in older women, which leads to him cheating on her with her own mom, and go Stewie go. So Lois returns home with a very important observation from Peter.
Lois, you have a gray hair.
What?
1.5 inches left of your part.
Notice how he didn't even look at her when she came in. He's been holding on to that news for a minute.
You know, I don't mind so much that you're aging, it's just the way you're shoving it down my throat.
Screw you, Peter.
But enough about their impending divorce. Meg has news of her own. She has a boyfriend.
Yeah, what?
Yes, I share your mother's skepticism.
No, really, I have a boyfriend.
Sorry, Meg, but your left hand can't be your boyfriend. My dreams were crushed long ago, and now so are yours. But lo and behold, Meg brings home an actual, honest-to-God, normal-looking boyfriend.
Meg's boyfriend.
But there's nothing wrong with him.
We're gonna need an expert's opinion to know if that's actually true.
He seems to be completely normal.
I guess no experts were available, so Dr. Hartman will have to do. Still, a moment like this is absolutely nationwide news.
This was worth the 500-mile drive.
So Anthony seems to impress the entire world, especially Lois.
Has anybody ever told you you're pretty enough to be a movie star, Mrs. Griffin?
Oh my goodness.
Well, you gave her the first compliment she's received in months. I'm sure she'll be normal about this.
I bet you taste like Mountain Dew and Starburst.
Never mind the creepy spying, she's gotta work on her doodling. Look at those proportions, they're nuts. So Lois begins to make her subtle advances on Anthony. As subtle as a car crash.
Your husband's work and poker game schedule?
My menstrual cycle's on there too, but I don't mind if you don't.
It's like she thought seducing a minor wasn't gross enough and had to crank it up a notch.
Oh, by the way, Meg, I forgot to tell you, your grandfather needs you to pick him up at the airport.
And with the perfect distraction set in place, Lois begins to make her move.
Do my gray hairs bother you?
What gray hairs?
Kiss me.
Couldn't have waited more than a nanosecond? Or moved to a more private spot? For goodness sake, the blinds are wide open. You really need to brush up on having an affair 101.
Mom, I forgot my keys. Do you know where?
So was Carter actually at the airport? Was Meg gonna drive all that way for nothing? Or is Carter now out of a ride? I know that's not what's important right now, but I gotta understand how dumb Lois's plan was. But now Lois needs to try to smooth things over with Meg.
Look, I understand that you're upset.
You made out with my boyfriend! How could you do that?
It's pretty easy when you've got a soul as dark as obsidian, or more likely in Lois's case, low middle-aged woman self-esteem.
I never meant to steal him from you.
Is that what you think? You stole him from me?
But Meg doesn't even view Lois as a threat. She's not in tune with all the weird stuff the youths get up to these days.
Look at you. You're old. You're nothing. You couldn't even imagine the things I do for him.
Well, that's good because I really don't want to. The less I know about what Meg does in the bedroom, the better.
He hangs me from the shower rod with your old bras and then we laugh at you.
La 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 la, can't hear you, don't wanna know, don't wanna know. And after that little ordeal, Lois sees fit that Peter knows this is all because of him.
You've made me feel so unattractive lately that I went and did something disgusting and abhorrent and I'm ashamed of myself.
Kinda seems like this whole conversation could have been had before you tongued your daughter's boyfriend's mouth, but hey, let's just keep the bad decisions rolling.
I guess I thought that if I could bring you down, you wouldn't start to notice that you're too good for me and run off looking for another fella.
Not a bad idea, honestly. But Peter and Lois make up and we never hear about Anthony again. So it's probably safe to assume he and Meg either broke up or Meg killed him during one of their weird bedroom moments. Either of those scenarios is likely to have equal probability. But it would be the C that would kill Meg's next chance at love during a cruise gone horribly wrong in Yacht Rocky. So after Peter suffers a panic attack at work, Dr. Hartman has just the prescription for him to help with his anxiety.
I'm texting you a link to a collection of songs called Yacht Rock.
Well, that's a prescription slightly harder to sell to college students looking to mellow out, but maybe there's something to it.
This one's called Summer Breeze, and it makes me feel fine.
It turns out the soothing sounds of yacht rock help to make all the guys feel nice and relaxed. I guess this prescription was just as addictive as medicine, because now they want more.
Guys, there's a yacht rock cruise that leaves from the Quahog Marina tomorrow.
So the guys booked themselves a trip, but I guess they forgot to tell Peter it was a guys-only kind of trip.
Please don't tell Donna. She'll kill me if she knew wives were allowed. Please, Lois, please.
Well, good luck using the cruise to relax now. There's a freshly stocked doghouse waiting for both of them when they get home. So while everyone's getting up to their own wacky vacation hijinks, Meg decides to bum a used cigarette. Not the kind of unwinding I was expecting, but sure.
I can show you where there's a whole pile of those.
The fact that he didn't run off disgusted is probably a good sign. Don't let this one go, Meg.
You must know a lot about crap.
You're not from here, are you?
From the cruise ship or the surrounding Atlantic Ocean? Either way, what kind of question is that?
You want to mess around on some damp towels next to where the seagulls crap?
It wasn't seagulls.
Read the room, Meg. No one asked you to admit that. Then again, this guy seems weirdly fascinated with poop, so maybe this is doing something for him? Cruise people are weirdos.
Wow, I've never seen someone eat so many powdered donuts in half an hour before.
Oh yeah, this guy's a freak. Meg may have found her soulmate.
I love you, Meg.
Oh my god. No one's ever told me that before.
Doing so must be a crime against nature because Poseidon's about to punish him real quick. Walk it off, champ, it's just a flesh wound. With the entire cruise ship flipped, everyone will need to figure out a way to survive. Luckily, Meg's been taking this tragedy in stride.
Hey, you sons of This is Chad. He's my boyfriend. We love each other.
Did I say in stride? I meant she slipped into a deep psychosis she may never recover from.
A little help?
Ah, well, the head is the least important part of the body in a relationship. It's all about the calves.
Preach.
So Meg, her dead boyfriend of 5 minutes, and the rest of the gang rush to find a way out of the boat, but with water rising fast, it looks like they're out of options.
Man, that was crazy.
Oh, it's over? Okay, well, great work, team. That's too bad for Meg. She finally found a cute guy that doesn't mind that her poop looks like a seagull's. Those guys are 1 in a million, and thank goodness for that. But Meg would find a once-in-a-lifetime romance in an Amish town, though her relationship was jeopardized when Peter and the boys' dad went to war an Amish guy. So the Griffins are on their way home from a vacation when their car breaks down in the middle of the country.
Looks like it's the radiator.
Well, we're just gonna have to find a local mechanic.
Sure, I bet the cows and pigs at the nearby farms know all about fixing cars. But they're in Amish country now, where cars probably look like rocket ships to them.
We do not see many of your folk in these parts, but we welcome all of God's children in their hour of need.
I'd say the Griffins are closer to Satan spawn, but they don't gotta know about that just yet. But Meg isn't exactly thrilled to be in this throwback town.
There's no electricity, no telephones. It's horrible.
Excuse me? I assure you our community is quite pleasant.
Nothing quells Meg's nagging like a crumb of attention from a boy. So Eli shows Meg all the beauty and wonders of the Amish village.
So what do you do for fun around here?
We do chores and we watch other people do chores.
Somehow that sounds both fulfilling and mind-numbing at the same time. I couldn't imagine living somewhere without modern technology like iPods, floppy disks, and landline phones.
Thanks for being so nice to me.
I think you are the most fascinating girl I have ever met, Meg.
As a gift, Meg gives Eli her iPhone so he'll always remember her. But with no electricity and no way to charge it, that thing will just become a glorified paperweight within a few hours.
What are you doing with that outsider?
Her name is Meg, Father, and I was just showing her our community.
But Eli's dad thinks Meg will corrupt him and forbids Eli from seeing her. God forbid a boy's life be more than knowing all the different ways to plow a field. Meg can probably show him a different way of plowing if you catch my drift.
He said I was trying to corrupt his son.
He did he? Well, that does it.
It's always weird to see Peter being a protective dad. It's kind of like seeing Bigfoot or a YouTube video being worth 2 hours long. You think it's only the stuff of legend.
I promise you, she ain't trying to corrupt him or nothing.
Mr. Griffin, with all due respect, we live in 2 different worlds.
Those who own an HBO Max subscription and those who do not. Surely there's a way for these worlds to coexist, and maybe share a password if they're trying to watch The White Lotus.
For all we know, Meg might want to Amish herself.
I had not considered this.
So the two men decide that their children can continue seeing one another. Perhaps there's even a thing or two they can learn from one another.
Introducing rock and roll.
Well, so much for that. You may as well have started reading from the Satanic Bible in front of him.
You are banished from our community at once, and take your whore daughter with you.
So the family takes their horse-drawn station wagon and heads out of town, much to the dismay of Meg, who will never see Eli again.
Eli, what are you doing here?
I could not let you leave without me, Meg. I love you.
Well, that's great. One more mouth to feed. Luckily, it seems like he lives on a diet of corn and radishes, so it'll be just like owning a pig. But Eli's father isn't taking this lying down.
Holy crap, who did this?
It must have been my father. This is how the Amish declare a feud.
Man, remember when people used to get into feuds? When was the last time you were in a feud? People should start feuding again, like the good old days.
We can't be part of a feud with the Amish.
I didn't start this thing, Lois. But I'm gonna finish it.
So Peter gets Joe and Quagmire and straps him up with enough weapons and technology to overthrow a small nation.
All right, men, this is it. Technology versus old-timey wooden stuff. Let's hit them hard.
You may think this seems like overkill, but in reality, the Amish people are a well-oiled machine.
Apples, fire!
It turns out that fruit and quilts are just as useful as guns and tanks. Just trust me on that, I wouldn't try to test that theory in the real world. When Peter does turn a gun on them, they're very quick to recover. Peter and Ezekiel aim to settle this man-to-man, but Meg and Eli come to try to break it up.
Father, what are you doing?
I am going to kill that man!
That man is my girlfriend, Meg.
Dang, Meg's always catching strays. At least he didn't think she was one of their cows.
But look at yourself. You're the one who's allowed yourself to be corrupted.
Eli finally talks some sense into his father, who concedes and allows Eli to continue seeing Meg, but Eli decides to stay here.
This is where I belong. I'm sorry if this upsets you, Meg.
I mean, I'd be upset too if the love of my life just gave up that easily. Come on, you can learn the ways of the modern world. You'd be wearing snapbacks and making TikToks before you know it.
I'll never forget you.
Meg, I've already forgotten what his name is. Plus, if this guy's in on Instagram, is he really worth dating? That's where all the good men are, or so I've been told by my perpetually single friends. But Meg would actually find a chance at a princess lifestyle through being trafficked before Brian and Stewie unintentionally ruin it and Lego my Mego. So Meg's busy being one of the most popular girls in her school.
I pick everyone except Meg.
Fair enough. Go!
Most popular to brutally beat up and bully, I should clarify.
No, I don't think I can take another semester at the school, Ruth. It's torture.
Luckily for Meg, Ruth has a way to get them both not only out of the school, but out of the country.
If you hate it so much here, why don't you come to Paris for a semester with me instead? I'm leaving next week.
Sounds like a very big decision to drop on someone with a week's notice. Then again, Meg doesn't really have much going on, does she? So Meg agrees and she and Ruth head off to Paris. Once they land, they are immediately approached by a very trustworthy man.
Would you ladies like to share a cab? Or as we say, share a cab?
Because if there's anyone you can trust, it's a guy hanging outside an airport with no baggage whatsoever. He does have a scarf though. What bad guy would wear a scarf? But the girls make it to their home for the next few weeks and Meg decides to phone home.
Hi, Dad. It's me. Just wanted you to know I got here safe.
And sound?
Yes, Dad. And sound.
It's the being sound part that always gets you. Speaking of sounds, Meg hears a commotion in the other room and sees Ruth getting grabbed.
Oh my God! They've got Ruth! And now I think they're coming after me.
She's about to be tooken, like that movie, Tooken. Luckily, Peter talks her through it to help her stay safe.
Take short, rapid breaths. Then hide under the bed, but leave 2 of your feet sticking out.
Yeah, Meg would have had a higher chance of survivability if Peter just shot her himself. So Meg gets grabbed, which means Peter's ready to go full Liam Neeson mode.
These guys are serious. Lois, Meg's dead!
But not Liam Neeson from Taken. More like Liam Neeson from all those pictures where it looks like he's peed himself. And when the FBI fails to do anything, Meg's fate now lies in the furry and prepubescent hands of a dog and a baby. Yay?
You're the only one who's got the know-how and the technology to help us track her down.
Also, all the guns. The guns help too. So Stewie and Brian arrive in Paris, and now it's time to use that technology Brian was talking about.
Let's try Google Earth.
Worth a shot.
Look, guys, I know it's Meg they're trying to save, but surely this calls for a bit more effort than Google Earth. But actually, it helps them find a clue.
We gotta find this man.
Let's see, this was taken at the airport. He could be some sort of lookout who spots girls fresh off the plane.
Thank goodness the guy's straight up stupid, returning to his usual hunting grounds after helping kidnap someone.
Have you seen this girl? Quick, he's getting away!
But this is a parkour guy, so they may never catch him. Luckily, the universe enacts karmic punishment for him getting interested in parkour to begin with.
Oh no. I have shattered myself.
So Brian and Stewie do the first thing you should always do when you find a dead body. Loot his corpse. Look, if it's good enough for every RPG I've ever played, it's good enough for real life.
Maybe there's something in here we can use.
Ugh, this guy has a Velcro wallet. Grow up.
But they use that crappy wallet to make their way to a human auction where Meg is most likely being held.
Hey, got one more here.
Oh, where are we? I'm from Atlanta. I don't know where we are.
I bet Stewie really had to fight Brian on being the girl in this scenario. But their charade only works for so long, eventually getting caught, but confirming that Meg is here.
This next girl is perfect for those of you who want to buy a sex slave, but don't want to spend sex slave money.
Well, that might be the nicest way someone has ever described Meg. Meg finally meets the man who bought her, but apparently she's not for him.
I bought you for my son, and not to be his slave, but to be his wife.
Now that's a real dad. For my 18th birthday, my dad gave me a Microsoft Zune and a handshake. When was the last time you even remember seeing a Zune?
This is Faisal, my son, and the heir to my throne.
I guess trafficking is only cool when a hot young prince is involved.
If you say yes, I will spend the rest of my days making your every wish come true.
Living the life of a princess is everything Meg has ever wanted, and she's fully ready to love this prince and his fully intact head.
No! Stewie?
Hi, Meg.
Oof, having an intact head was kinda a deal breaker for Meg. So Stewie brings her home Men in Black style with no memory of what just happened. Probably for the best, because if she realized what kind of life just slipped through her fingers, she'd probably wish she were the one with the hole in the head. And Meg may have wished her life in Russia went a bit differently after it's revealed her Russian husband was just using her for a green card and adult education. So Meg is living a fairy tale life in Russia, one glittered by nuclear radiation and rampant alcoholism.
It's so bleak, but to me, it's perfect.
Oh sure, it's so good that even the actually Russian Mila Kunis doesn't want to do the singing. Well, you know what they say, one man's wasteland is another girl's paradise.
I've never felt so much at home.
But who wouldn't want to stay in a place where you're known as the town's prettiest girl? A Quahog 3 is apparently a Russian 10.
What more can I ask for?
I don't know, not having a huff nuclear runoff every day, maybe? But Meg and her boyfriend Ivan seem to be living a great life.
My darling has appetite of Siberian walrus and is just as fragrant.
But Meg can't help but still miss America a little bit. Just don't say or think that here, because the Russian thought police will be all over you.
I sure could go for a good old-fashioned American cheeseburger.
Should have known better, Meg. You will eat the raw beets, and you will like it.
What happened?
Everyone here was silenced by state for careless social media post.
And they said I was crazy when I said being a social media influencer was more dangerous than being a soldier. Once Meg recovers, Ivan takes her on a lovely picnic in a smog-covered graveyard.
It is here where you can finally meet my parents.
Huh, not a very lively bunch, are they? But what's the point in having Meg meet your two skeletal parents?
I never want us to be apart. Meg, will you marry me?
Well, maybe it is time to settle down. Meg isn't getting any younger after all. She might not be getting older either if she keeps breathing in that smog.
Oh, Ivan, yes, yes, yes!
That's 3 das, so it sounds like Meg's about to be the happiest girl in Russia. Not a high bar to clear, it seems.
And I also pronounce you husband and wife. You may share a joyless kiss.
But while they celebrate their honeymoon, Meg can't help but feel a bit bummed out.
I mean, I love it here, but I'm sad they missed my wedding.
That's the risk you take with these destination weddings. Though it usually helps if you make it a destination people actually want to go to.
Why don't we visit family in America? They can celebrate our wedding and say a proper farewell.
Sounds like a great idea, but Ivan's intentions aren't what they seem. I knew you couldn't trust a guy with a mustache on his forehead.
You got green card marriage, huh?
That's right. American cow fell for it.
Thanks for saying your plan loudly enough for Meg to hear. With her dreams dashed, Meg decides to take control of Ivan's Twitter and sick the state police on him. Usually there's some poking that happens on the honeymoon, but this is ridiculous. Thank you. I save all my bad jokes to the very end so you don't click away. But before you do click away, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. That way you can help us grow and help us deliver even more great Family Guy videos directly to you.